But this morning, I want to touch on the topic of when do you need an accountant? And what is an accountant anyway? Look, I got my t-shirt on, but I wanted to touch on this topic. I had a business owner, and I've had a couple of business owners over the last week that basically have said, I don't need an accountant yet, or I'm not ready for an accountant. So if you're catching this live, y'all say hey to me, because I'm going to be quick this morning. If you're watching it on replay, let me know you watch it on replay, because I noticed a lot of y'all are watching these videos on replay, and just let me know, is the content blessing you? How's it going? I have found that a lot of people are using tax preparers and believe they have an accountant. They say that their tax preparer is their CPA and they're not, or their bookkeeper is their CPA and they're not, or their bookkeeper is their accountant and they're not. So listen, let me just say this. An accountant has an accounting degree in accounting. Okay, let's start there. And then if an accountant wants to issue statements to the public, they take the CPA exam. You take the CPA exam, you pass the CPA exam, and you become a CPA. Okay, so a CPA must first pass the CPA exam. Okay, so if your accountant has never passed the CPA exam, they're not a CPA, they're an accountant. Okay, now if your tax preparer does not have an accounting degree, or your bookkeeper does not have an accounting degree, they're not an accountant, they're a bookkeeper. Okay, so when do you need an accountant? You always need an accountant, right? If you're in business and numbers is the language of business, or you go to a country and you say, I'm gonna live in this country, will you live in a country and not know the language? And if you don't know the language, do you get an interpreter to help you speak the language? All right. Yes, that's what an accountant is. If you're in business and you don't have an accounting degree, meaning you don't know what generally accepted accounting principles are, how to follow them, and all accountants, let me pause here, all accountants don't know generally accepted accounting principles. All CPAs don't know generally accepted accounting principles. All CPAs don't do taxes. All accountants don't do taxes. So just because someone has an accounting degree does not make them your tax accountant, or does not make them, qualified to advise you on taxes, or qualified to advise you in your business on a business transaction. All right. So what qualifies people? There's only one thing. It's called experience. So it doesn't matter what the credentials are. It doesn't matter. But you want to make sure that people have a basic foundation. When you go to college, don't you want to make sure, before they even let your butt in college, they want to make sure first you got a high school degree. Okay? There are just prerequisites to certain things. So when someone says that they're an accountant, you want to first make sure that they passed the first prerequisite. And that prerequisite is they've gone to college and they've gotten an accounting degree. Okay? And then when you want to issue publicly financial statements that are trusted by the public, you get a CPA. Your CPA gives you what the most important thing about a CPA is, and I was just actually even discussing this with my husband. The most important thing about a CPA, guys, is your CPA can issue an opinion letter. And they give an opinion letter. So think about it. Coca-Cola, Amazon, like all the big companies, Fortune 500 companies, issue financial statements. And on those financial statements, you guys give money. You give money to these companies to help them raise capital. based on the financial statements that they make publicly available. And their accountant goes in, performs an audit, and say, you know what? They follow generally accepted accounting principles, and the information is accurate or materially accurate. It's not way off. They're not saying that it's on every cent on the dime is right, and you could trust those. They're saying you could trust those financials. They're materially correct, and if there's anything in those financials that is incorrect, it's not material. It shouldn't change your mind about whether you were going to give this company $500 or $200 or $5,000 or $1 million. It doesn't matter. When you buy stock in a company and you buy it off of the Securities Exchange, which is SEC, the stock market, the SEC, they regulate that. So that's why CPAs are so important. CPA opinion letters are so important. That's why as small business owners, we need a CPA when we go to the bank. So when you go to the bank, and I have small business owners out there, and you guys have asked the bank for money, or you said, bank, I got this going on. I need you to trust that what I'm giving you from my business is right. What does the bank say? The bank say, I need a letter from your CPA, or I need a letter from a CPA. And let me tell y'all how basic this is. I issue letters, and I don't generally issue them to businesses I don't know, or businesses I have never done business with. And if I've never done business with you, I will issue an opinion letter. But I gotta know if I'm gonna put my name on something and I'm gonna issue an opinion to the bank. I gotta make sure I know your business. So the bank at this point is asking small business owners, hey, prove that your business is a business. Prove that you've been in business. They're not trusting your tax return. They're not trusting what you say. They're not trusting that you registered with the Secretary of State. What I find out here, you could get all the way down to the part where they're about to sign the check and issue you a loan. And if you're a small business owner, they're not gonna ask you for an audit. Sometimes, even when you're qualifying for your home loan, I've had so many clients, so many people just Google and come to our firm and say, hey, can you write a letter? And can your letter say that I'm the business owner? Can the letter say that I own 100% of the business? And if I don't know that business, first of all, I never did your taxes. You found me on Google. You called me. I'm not going to issue you an opinion letter. And if I do, I need you to bring me the things so that I could validate and corroborate for the bank you say who you are. So now you got to give a CPA all your tax returns. We could pull your transcripts. We could just validate for the bank that you are who you say you are. You're the owner of Newco Business and you own 100% of Newco. That is what a CPA does. An accountant cannot do that. Okay, a tax preparer cannot do that. The bank wants to know that someone who's certified, someone who has followed generally accepted accounting principles and understand them, I need them to validate. Now, I think it's crazy, personally. I think that the bank is just adding an extra layer of, extra hurdle for the small business owner to jump. But because at the end of the day, they could order your transcripts from the IRS, and they could do their own due diligence, but they don't want to. For them not to have to do the work, they say, you know what? Just have a CPA give us a letter that you are who you say you are. And then for the big businesses, the opinion letter on your financial statement says, hey, you follow generally accepted accounting principles. That's what an audit is all about. A review of your financial statement says, hey, I reviewed it and it looks right. Okay. A compilation says, I compiled it. I didn't look at any of the aligning information, but I compiled it, and these financials that I'm giving you are in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And if they're not, I've stated it for you. You should read the financial statement. Footnotes to financial statements are very important when you need to give your information to a third party. The financial statements talks for the business, because the business cannot speak for itself. The financial statement speaks accounting. Generally accepted accounting principles, the number language of business. Numbers numbers has different kinds of languages, right? So sometimes you're looking at your numbers for your financial records. Sometimes you're looking at your sales numbers. Sometimes you're looking at your customers' numbers. I'm talking about your financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. I'm talking about your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statement. And let me speak on profit and loss statements, guys. Sometimes y'all are out here, and I'm going to do a live, and it's going to be titled, is it your CPA or is it you? Is it your accountant or is it you? Is it really that your taxes are wrong, or is it that your P&L was bad in the first place? And you guys are out here, and I'm not saying y'all because I know y'all not doing this, but I'm saying people. People are in the world, business owners are in the world saying that they don't know if they need an accountant. You need an accountant, number one, to make sure that the financial statements that you're putting on your tax return makes sense. I mean, for this particular business owner, I looked at his financial statements, and I mean, it's not structured. It's not telling the story that he wants to tell, and it's not telling the right story. And there is no background. There is no backbone to those financial statements. There is no backbone to your numbers when you have no accounting system. And nobody likes to deal with anything without a backbone. And you want to make sure that your business has a backbone. The accounting system of your business is your backbone. Think about it. If your body had no backbone, you couldn't stand up straight. You want your business to have the ability to stand up straight in front of the bank, to stand up straight in front of the investor, and to stand up straight in front of you. Data-driven decisions. That's what I'm going to drop here for y'all today. Data-driven decisions. You want to make sure that as a business owner, I know when I'm making money. I'm making money because I got money in my account. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm making money. That means I got money. It might not be mine. So you want to make sure that you're keeping up with your accounting system, not only so that you can know that what your net income is, but at basic. Most people, most businesses are afraid or just hate tax time because they haven't calculated their estimated taxes and they don't know what's behind the tax door. Okay? At a bare minimum, know what's behind the tax door. At a bare minimum, don't just say, this particular, most, and I'm not even going to say this. Most people, when they decide that they need an accountant, either they're making a lot of money in their business and they want to make sure they're accounting for it and they're afraid of the IRS. So they're like, hey, I need an accountant to make sure I have financials. The other most popular reason right now is they need the numbers for the bank. And the bank said, you know what, with these numbers, we're not going to give you any money. Or they want to buy a house. They're trying to secure their legacy. They're making money, but they're still renting. And they want to go ahead and buy a house, or they want to get financing for their business, or they're tired of front loading their business. And they say, no, I need financials, or I need a CPA, or I should be working with a CPA. But you guys make sure that just like, and this has been in my spirit all week, and then I'm going to jump off, but just like you guys interview people in your business, you interview your operations director, you interview your front office person, you interview people who work in your business. You need to interview your accountant and make sure that the accountant that you're working with is at the experience level that you need, and let it first start with your accountant having an accounting degree. Okay. And then interview that accountant. I interview accountants all the time. We're an accounting firm. I interview accountants all the time, and I realize that we all don't have the same experience. And this accountant, I would not hire to do the financial statements for my clients. I will hire this accountant to work on taxes. I'll hire this accountant specifically to just help solve tax problems, tax resolution. I hire this accountant to help my client see their financials as an investor and to do more advisory services. I engage accountants. We have accountants at all levels in our firm. So if you're not sure I'm going to put a shameless plug. I have on my shirt today. Thank you to my cousin, Temple. Temple gave me this shirt. She sent me, I had on my X Financial shirt yesterday. I said I liked it so much I was going to repeat and wear it again today. But my cousin, this is our company, Tax Plus 365. Y'all, come to Tax Plus 365. Get your business fit. Know that you're working with the right accountant for where your business is, number one. Make sure you're working with the right accountant for the level that you need your business to be at. And make sure that if you need to tap on your accountant's shoulder and say, I need an opinion letter from the bank, or tap on your accountant's shoulder and say, I need an audit, you're in the right building. Okay, so y'all gonna stop being out here, claiming that your sister is your CPA. Except for if you're my brother. Your sister is your CPA. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Don't forget to move your profit in the right direction. And that's up. I'm about to get my kids to camp. I love y'all. Bye.